chop all these siege tanks now. Those drones really desperately trying to run for their lives. There's Wednesday Night
vVv Gaming that way for some reason.
All right, so StarCraft Masters, as fun as the topic as it is, let's go ahead and get Game 3 started. It is going to be Rocker versus Bio, and we'll see if Rocker can continue his undefeated streak against Zerg here, as someone needs to stop the bleeding. Rocker spawning as the not-so-pretty purple Protoss against a Zerg on the top left-hand side of the map. Meanwhile, Bio, so far the undefeated Zerg in Wednesday Night Starcraft here, March 7th, for Convergence Gaming on the bottom right-hand side of the map.
Yeah, so full cross spawns here, and yeah, Rocker's been doing pretty good against Zerg. We've talked week after week. He's got strong strategies. He employs DTs to shut down expansions and really harass the Zerg economy. And you know, whether it's early DTs that aren't scouted and aren't prepared for, or late DTs where you know, maybe the Zerg doesn't have spine crawlers and spore crawlers, or spine crawlers and an overseer at every single base. They can be a very powerful tool to, you know, just warp in 2 or 3 DTs, send them to different bases, and you know, suddenly you can kill 15, 20 drones while the armies are engaging. And Zerg is all about remaxing against Protoss, and if you're able to hurt the economy, it can definitely keep them from remaxing. So hopefully we see some DT play. I have seen it a little bit from Rocker.
All right, we'll see what Bio's going to do. Bio now scouting out with his 13 drone. Will be making its rounds. It looks like Rocker is going to be going for a Forge fast expansion. And we'll see if he places down a Forge first, or if he does just go straight for a Nexus. This is tall to Ream Alter. The map is rather large. It's going to be quite some time before either player finds each other. And with Bio not yet setting up a spawning pool, it looks like he's going to be going for perhaps a 16 hatchery. And a 16 hatchery, I guess a little bit more economically speaking. No, the drone making sure there's no proxy pylon inside his own base, as the drone now setting up the hatchery at the natural.
This is a weird pylon placement for a Rocker. Typically we see the pylon cover, you know, all the energy doesn't bleed down on the ramp at all. It covers basically the 2 points that they need to cover that choke, and then you can sort of wall off from there. So I'll be interested to see how he does choose to wall off here, where he places that first building, and how many buildings it takes to wall off completely.
Yeah, I think how he wants to do this is he wants to be able to perhaps set up a final pylon there. Yeah, so he's setting up that last pylon there, and he can take out that pylon as opposed to taking out a forge or taking out a gateway in order to finish off the wall in. And there is going to be a nice overlap. Wait, what the... All right, I wasn't expecting that gateway there.
A little bit strange. Yeah, but in this map, I think it really depends on when the Zerg player takes their third, whether they choose to throw down a hatchery before the rocks are even down and just start mining gas and mining minerals inefficiently, or whether they you know, take a riskier third farther away from their main and their natural. It can be a tough map as a Zerg player, trying to get on those 3 bases, plus be able to defend against any sort of 2-base timing, which you know your Protoss opponent can do.
All right, we'll see what Rocker's going to do. He does have his second Nexus up. He did place down double gateways rather early, and he does have an assimilator now warping in as well. We'll see who has the economic advantage. It looks as though Rocker is still chrono boosting out more and more probes, or he should be.
I don't know if I agree with this second gateway.
Yeah, normally the second gateway, if you're perhaps a little bit of a closer spawn, you can perhaps train a couple more zealots and then start rushing them across the map. But
and you can also pressure a quick third.
Yeah.
And like I was saying, it's going to be tough to get a quick third on this map. So the strange decision on this map.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure if I agree with it either, but we'll see what happens here. The gateway is training up a zealot. If that second gateway never trains anything, then that would be a rather strange opening, as we now see a zealot going to be running off to intercept and take on a Zergling here. It should be able to get a free Zergling kill. Zergling one at a time, very easy for a zealot, as we now see a photon cannon in position. Will it be able to pick off both Zerglings before they run in is the key question.
I think it will without speed, and here's the Zealots definitely going to be able to take those down as well, or help towards that end. And like we were saying, that second gateway definitely delays the cybernetics core, and that delays the warp gate tech. So any 2-base timing is going to be much weaker here for Rocker. He has started his his ground weapon's level 1, so he could have tried to sync up these 2 upgrades and gone for a 2-base timing, but it's going to be maybe, you know, 25, 30 seconds slower because he had to delay that cybernetic score.
All right, but what I find interesting is that he's actually using the zealots from those gateways to start taking out the destructible rocks. So perhaps he's assuming that the Zerg is going to try to take a fast third, and he wants to try to beat him to the punch. So if that's the strategy, if he's able to get his Nexus up around the 8 to 9 minute mark, and Bio is a little bit not aggressive enough, perhaps Rocker can do a nice 3-gate or 3-base push and completely catch his opponent off guard.
So let's take a look at Baya's base. He hasn't started speed, no, just now starting speed. Instead, he went for a lair very, very early, and wow, that lair is almost done. It's going to be done about 7:45 here, so he's already working off of 4 gas as well. I imagine mutas are going to be hitting the field shortly, and we'll see whether...
It's actually going to be a Hydralisk then. Wow.
I wonder if he's going to do a Nidus Swarm Hydra play.
Yeah,
he'd be really good.
Yeah, that would be really good. You can see that there is an Overseer Cocoon right now. It is going to be able to do some bit of scouting, and it's looking for all of that key tech. A Dark Shrine is now coming in as well. A Changeling is now inside the base, and the Changeling's going to spot that Dark Shrine. And I don't think the Dark Shrine's really going to be able to do that much damage. A Nidus network is being established, and this may turn into a very, very short game. Rocker was hoping to go for a very long economic game, and it may not be that at all.
So we'll see where he's going to place down this Nidus network. He does have that Overseer, but it's actually made its way out towards the center of the field a little bit. So he's out of position. There was actually a great opportunity in the upper right-hand corner of Rocker's base to place down that Nidus network, but he may actually use the... Oh, wow.
Nicely done.
Probe just killed the Changeling there and canceled the Dark Shrine, so now Bayo's going to have to maybe place the Nidus at the front door. We'll see how effective that is.
Yeah, also Rocker... Oh, Nidus is now being established. There are some gateways. There are some photon cannons here. Sentries. Does Rocker spot this? No, Rocker does not spot this. Just beyond sight range as the gateway is still warping in. The probe does come down. It does spot the Nidus network, and this could be huge as the Hydralisks are now going to simply unload and now try to take down all of these gateways here.
Warp gate tech is done, and there are 4 gates currently, another 2 on the way, though they aren't warp gates, and we'll see how much damage these Hydras are able to do. They do have +1, and right now they're taking on all gateway units, and sentries make up a decent portion of the army as well, so not a lot of DPS coming from the gateway units compared to these Hydras, but I feel like that was just a bad position. There's no creep here, and these Hydras are going to have a tough time taking on this third, so Rocker defends that nicely, and there wasn't a huge investment by Bio, but he had a feeling that he wanted to do more damage with that play.
Yeah, we'll see what's going to happen. The Nidus network is now unloading units. The probes are trying to take it down. The probes may be able to finish it off as the stalkers show up in time, and all of these Hydralisks are stuck on the wrong side of the map now. And I can't really tell who has the advantage. Bio now down to 46 drones compared to Rocker's 65, and Rocker is on 3 bases. So the longer this game goes, the better it will be for Rocker. It's just whether or not Bio can make Rocker pay.
And we got another Nidus form being established here at the front, and we'll see whether Rocker focuses it down immediately. It looks like he might actually do it before the Lings all do get out, so now it's just Lings and a few Hydras, and those Hydras are stuck in the middle of the field, off of creep, very slow. They can't get home, so Blink's going to be very good here. There are Lings coming across, trying to help out. There are no cannons back at home, so Rocker just going to use all Blink Stalkers to defend against this push, and this is a crazy game. We've got another Nidus form being established, hoping to unload all these units.
Yeah, the Nidus network now trying to unload more and more Zerglings. Hydralisks now coming out as well. The Stalkers are slowly blinking back. That is very effective, but the Hydralisks are way too slow off of creep to really be effective. The Zerglings getting way too far ahead, and now the Zerglings are going to go down as the Stalkers are going to engage. Hydralisks are once again in position. Are we going to get some Zealots, and how is Rocker going to deal with this Nidus network sitting outside his base?
Bio needs to get a Overlord in Rocker's base and start putting down 2 of these and really doing some multi-prong pressure. Both the Lings and the Hydras are going to do quite well against the Stalkers if they're split up. So right now Bio is just pushing in. He's going to try to take down as many Stalkers as he can before these cannons finish, but Rocker's going to have a lot of firepower here with these Blink Stalkers as well as the cannons, and with this small choke point, I don't think Bio is going to be able to push down this third.
Yeah, we'll see what's going to happen. The Hydralisk, the count, it really is just a 3-base versus a 2-base, and Rocker has been able to replenish his units much more quickly. I don't like Bio's decision here. Bio knows that he's behind on bases, and yet he's still trying to really deal damage, and he's not exchanging very well.
Yeah, it's 77 probes to 45 drones right now, so Bio's going to keep this up for maybe a minute or two more, and then the macro of Rocker is just going to kick in. He's going to be able to crush it and then push out across the field and crush Bio.
Yeah, we'll see what's happening. We have 2-0 upgrades on the Stalkers. The Hydralisks are only 1-0. They do have the Groove Spine. That's why they have equal range right now. But I think Bio really needs to transition into something else. If he continues down this path, I don't think it will bode well for him at all. You can see that there's still an Overseer hanging around in this group here, and we are now going into Robotics Facility, double Robotics Facility for perhaps some Colossi.
Yeah, definitely going to be Colossi with the exact counter to this Hydra Ling army, and we finally see some drones coming out for Bio. He's up to 50 right now against the 85, but he had to create so many units there trying to push in with that all-in that his economy is so hurt at this point. He's only got 3 bases. One is very, very far away. It's not saturated at all. And I was about to say, before all that action happened, this is sort of working out the reverse of what we usually see in this matchup. A lot of times we see the Protoss go for a strong 2-base timing, and the Zerg on 3 bases really needs to defend and struggle to hold off that timing. But if they do, they have the macro advantage. Instead, we reverse it this time. The Zerg goes for the 2-base timing. The Protoss goes for a quick 3 bases, struggles to hold it off, and now he's got the macro advantage going into the mid game.
All right, so yeah, what's gonna happen here? You can see Observers and Immortals now being trained, so perhaps he does suspect that there will be Ultralisks. The Overseer does spot the Robotics Facility. More pylons are going down. I don't think the Overseer can lay down a Nidus network, as we now see Rocker just getting up to a 50 food advantage here. Zealots are now in the field, middle of the field, picking off a couple Hydralisks and a couple Zerglings. And where are all of these these Stalkers and Zealots going to go? It looks like they have pretty much found the 3rd base already, and perhaps why are they going after a Zergling instead of attacking that 3rd base? Rocker, what are you doing?
Yeah, they need to get on that 3rd base. He sees the drones moving over there, so he's going to quickly focus this down. His opponent's going to be on 2 bases. Aspire and some Hydras and Roaches are coming out. Burrows on the way. Level 2 attacks on the way as well, but that's not really going to do too much against this just huge amount of Blinkstalkers. 37 Blinkstalkers to 15 Hydras. The Blinkstalkers do have 2-1 upgrades, and they're just shredding the Zerg units, and I think Bio could GG soon.
Yeah, Bio, I'm not quite sure I agreed with his strategy. He knew that he was behind. He wanted to bust it down. And Rocker just really surprised me with being able to take down the Destructible Rocks so quickly and get up on 3 bases, and he really won this macro game, as now the Stalkers are going after Overlords. I don't think... Bio actually could end up being supply blocked here if he's not careful, as Overlord after Overlord now getting destroyed.
Yeah, Rocker actually didn't take down that 3rd base. Interesting decision by him. He didn't actually take down that many drones either. He's got 16 killed so far, but like we said, not full saturation. It's 91 to 54, and Rocker's just positioning to kill him off.
All right, we see some Manor Nexuses now coming in from Rocker. Wow, a lot of Manor Nexus coming in from Rocker. 4 of them in the middle of the field. Wow. And Bio says good map choice. So Bio losing to Rocker here on Tal'Darim Altar.
Yeah, it is so tough as a Zerg player. You just can't take that quick 3rd, and the Protoss gets not free fast expand, because you can bust that down. We've seen in the past, but it's not the worst map for a Forged fast expand. So Rocker actually threw him off a little bit going for that quick 3 bases. I think that Bio's play could have worked there, but he just didn't execute it as well or as cleverly as I thought he could. If he was able to put down multiple Nidus Worms, if he was able to just get one in a spot in the main and start working on production or probes, really hurting the economy, I think that could have worked. But instead, a very strange spot to attack that 3rd base where there was cannons going down. There was already a wall off, no creep, just a bad place to attack.